And we're back.
We're back. Need a little Trump dance there with the chips and salsa. We're back. I know we've been away a little bit, but we're back, man.
You know, I never could nail down the Trump dance.
Wow. It's just a style all his own, right?
It's still on his own. Yeah. As long as you're dancing.
For certain. And lots to dance about and be happy about. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm kind of cutting out here. Is that better? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Lots to talk about. I've been collecting stories during the week and everything. Do you want to do national? We should just start with national, but maybe we start out with the fact that I'm wearing this white T-shirt, which probably blends right in with the white wall, but it's for a purpose. Today is Charlie Kirk's birthday.
That's right.
Yeah, so unfortunately his life was cut short too early, for sure.
Yeah.
And this is in tribute when I do Prayer Warrior for Southwest Coalition. Mm-hmm. This is the shirt they have for this year. So as you can see, it's unshaken, which the message is, you know what? You haven't stopped anything. You just reinforce the movement, and here we go. And it's for Charlie. Today it's about him. So happy birthday in heaven, and thank you for all you did, Mr. Sainted Great American Hero.
The weirdest thing was there was no blood on the hands of the people that were working on him. Did you see that when he first got shot?
You know, I've been hearing, like, there's so many little stories that come out. What is your best little reflection of everything that you've heard?
Well, I just try to stay open-minded. I don't know who did it, but if you just look at the video, there's plenty of video evidence. As soon as he had gotten shot, there was his security detail jumped on him, and they're working on him. And, you could see pictures in the video or video of the guy's hands as they're working on him and trying to get him out of there. No blood on the hands. And they've had experts come on and say, hey, look, I've been a combat medic for years, and we've been trained. If anybody gets shot in the neck, okay, there's blood freaking everywhere. All right, and then the guys on top of that who are working on him, trying to get him out of there, are smiling. They're like kind of laughing. And usually when you have like an adrenaline, reaction, and you're gritting your teeth, like, you can feel it. Like, if you've ever been in a car accident or you witnessed anything traumatic, your natural adrenaline instinct
You're in
is
shock.
Yeah, the shock face is very distinct. It's like a grind, horror, like a horror. And they were smiling, kind of laughing. So that's just super peculiar. I'm worried about that guy. Like, did they, there's speculation, did they actually get him? Did he fake his death? I mean, there was a lot of issues with his wife taking over things right away. She was like kind of like poised to take it over. They ordered the stadium. They rented the stadium back in like March, apparently, for his funeral. Did you hear about that?
What?
Yeah, they reserved it months ago. For that
No, I had not heard all that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they were planning an event, that is their base. It is in Phoenix, in the Phoenix area, and that's Glendale's where they had it, the stadium.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for another event?
No, not to my understanding. It wasn't for another event that they were going to do. And then, the whole thing was what Candace Owens had released recently was that, he had the day before had warned people that he might be getting killed because he was going against, there was Israeli donors that were giving him $2 million a year, more money than that from other donors. And he was going to go anti-Israel because Charlie was pretty open about the whole thing with Gaza. He didn't agree with the way they were handling him. He didn't agree with a lot of things Israel was doing. And that's my position as well. I like Jewish people. I like the state of Israel. It's cool. But if you just look deeper into the way that they behave, especially their military, it's something that you don't want to be a part of, and that's what Charlie ended up saying. He didn't want to be a part of certain aspects of and Israel
was headed that way.
Yeah, and he's super unfavorable. Nobody around the world really likes Israel right now for what they've been doing. So he was just kind of going with the populist movement anyway. It just so happened that he had gotten tens of millions of dollars from pro-Israeli donors, and so he was going against that movement, not going against it, but just basically trying to speak truth with it.
Not as favorable as he had been probably in the past.
That's a better way to say it.
Yeah.
And so, I've
been doing politics too long, yeah.
Well, so that's just wanted to throw that out there because we hadn't had a show in a while, and I wanted to make sure that, and we did get a new studio. Our former landlord had to sell. He's retiring and he's selling all of his assets. So we got a new place. So that's why we had a little bit of delay. But yeah, we hadn't talked about that, and I think some people probably have heard about it. And the weird thing is you don't hear about any of these questions on mainstream media. Nobody on mainstream wants to talk about any of this stuff.
That's the truth.
I just wanted to throw that out there. Happy birthday to Mr. Charlie Kirk. Loved him. Still love him even more now. I still watch his clips. Even yesterday I was watching some clips.
They're even more powerful sometimes, the ones you have. And then once in a while I'll get some, because I watch some pretty, faithfully. But when you get something you haven't watched, it's more powerful to me.
You appreciate it more, it seems like.
Absolutely. So happy birthday, and I hope that the organization, I wish well for that organization. I think it's going to be hard to fill those shoes. Those are some big shoes to fill. But there's some good people, and I think just keep that movement going because it really helped our country, and that's what we need. We're trying to save our country.
We are.
And on another kind of national level, because we were almost going to record the show yesterday, which was Columbus Day, and we didn't get to do that. But President Trump has made it back to Columbus Day, which I love. It should never have been changed, you know. And not that I don't disrespect Indigenous Peoples Day, okay? Because I'm an Indigenous person. I think you are too. You know, if you're Mexican, if you're Mexican, you probably have that in there anyway. That's kind of the original half breed, I like to call it.
Mostly Chinese.
Right, but mostly Chinese. I have to mention this, okay? Do you watch that show Ghost? I know you don't watch TV.
No, I saw the movie Ghost.
There's a show Ghost, and it's about a lady that can see ghosts, and she and her husband buy this big hotel type thing, resort, and she sees all these old ghosts that have died there. And there's one guy there, and he is from Native American Indian days, okay, and looks a lot like you. Could be related to you. I'll show you a picture later. Anyways, if you're out there, you know what I mean.
I like it. I like doppelgangers.
Every time I see him, I'm like, man, look at that.
I'll never forget when I ran into my doppelganger here in town. I was at the gym, and we just looked at each other, and right away we didn't like each other. Right away we wanted to beat each other up.
Really? How old were you?
No, this is like a year ago.
Oh my God.
Not even a year ago. I mean, the guy we looked exactly like each other. It's ridiculous.
Oh, that's a
and
freak out.
We just started dogging each other like, yeah.
Did you talk to him, find out maybe you were related? Maybe?
Well, we were both kind of creeped out by it. You know, we kind of avoided each other at first, and then eventually we just kind of didn't like each other over time.
I'm going to have to start checking you and make sure it doesn't come in here.
It is hilarious.
Do you have an identifying mark or something?
We were even dressed the same. I mean, it was hilarious.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Freaky deaky.
But
That's
anyway.
crazy. So anyway, happy Columbus Day. I'm excited about that
Columbus.
stuff. And then, of course, the big news nationally, too, is President Trump and what has happened with Gaza. And even Hillary Clinton was giving praise to Trump about that. And there were some that from the left, and they're saying, oh, you know, the only reason he was able to do that is because what was going on with the Biden administration. And I'm like, man, I just get tired of hearing all that. I don't know about you.
Yeah, well, you guys don't understand. I don't like when people criticize Trump about the economy right away. Like, I've been seeing a lot of people on YouTube kind of, you know, criticize him. The economy's crap, and the economy's not doing very good, honestly. But Obama was in there for 8 friggin' years. And then we had a little bit of Trump, but he still had all of Obama's stay-behind networks, plus Bush's stay-behind networks, and nobody liked Bush anyway. And then so Trump barely was able to get it. Amazing he got to accomplish what he did in those first 4 years. Then Biden gets in there and then super floods it with more stay-behind networks. It's like, man, look at all the money they printed while Biden was in. I think they printed, what was it, like 80% of the total money in those 4 years that Biden was in there? Something like that. So, and I remember distinctly how much money we were shipping to other countries around the world during that, you know, and now here's the thing about Trump and the economy. He's printing money still. That's the problem. Okay. That's something that we have to acknowledge. He didn't really cut too much of the budget. We still had a lot of inflated budgets and stuff. But what I feel like Trump is doing is he's printing the money for us. And we talked about this before, I think. You know, we printed the money for all these other countries that probably went to crazy transgender programs or whatever, but now we're printing money and we're reinvesting into our own economy. We got $16 trillion worth of investment coming here as well. So I'm very optimistic about the economy in the next few years, hopefully much sooner. But yeah, I just don't like people criticizing Trump so easy without qualifying it and understanding how much horrific policy we've been under for the years before President Trump.
Well, and you know, the shutdown's happening, and he has this great victory with the Middle East. And, you know, they can't nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize, which that doesn't mean anything anymore, actually. They've taken the value away from that. But you're so right. There's been so many videos. I feel like I'm cutting out, but you can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And there's been so many videos where they talk about why the Republicans, they didn't want to keep funding, you know, transgender studies for snails in Europe. They don't want to do crazy things like that anymore. And maybe this is a good thing, Zeke, because, of course, you know, we want things to function correctly. And President Trump is saying, we're going to pay our troops. That's going to happen. But it's a way to educate the American people. Here's where your dollars are going to. Are you still happy with the fact that the radical left and the Democrats are okay with it? Maybe it's just a very good opportunity. Every day that we're shut down, you bring out more of that information.
Well, I love that we're shut down right now, honestly. He's getting rid of a lot of waste. It just really shows. I mean, and then the Democrats are out there, they're proudly saying, well, we want free Medicare for the illegal immigrants. I mean,
oh, no, they're denying that. They never said that. Well, they did.
Just read the bill. Just read the bill.
Thank you.
It's right there. And you can't run from it. You can lie, but you can't run from what's on the bill. And they're protecting illegals like crazy, especially here in New Mexico. They just forked over $500,000 here in Las Cruces for illegal immigrants. They do it in Albuquerque as well. They're putting in laws to not work with ICE. Same thing here. They're avoiding working with ICE. And President Trump was very clear that if you're not going to work with ICE and you're not going to make your elections, fair, we're going to take a lot of your funding. And so right now the whole thing is too with the bonds. It's like I posted yesterday that vote no on all bonds.
Yeah, I'm voting no.
A lot of people loved it, but there's a couple people who were pretty pissed off about that. And I'm like, look, man, they got $600 million. The school board particularly has $600 million budget. All right, that's a lot of money. The kids are getting worse. They're getting less educated, it seems like, and so they can't, functionally spend the money that they have now. I don't trust them at all with anything. And they say, well, they need to, beef up the schools' kitchens or beef up the schools' bathrooms. And I'm like, that looks like a bunch of contract, stuff that we need to really investigate. So I don't trust these guys. Vote no on all the bonds, in my opinion, because these guys have just been proven to waste our money like crazy.
And they all of a sudden just came up. And I don't know about you, but what I did about a few weeks ago, I decided I'm going to go online and I always like to check my registration. Yeah. And I printed the sample ballot. And that's how I found out about those other two. I knew about the Go Bond for the county, but there were two others. And everyone that I talked to that I'm reminding vote, they don't know about those. Sometimes they don't even know about the Go Bond.
So by the time you get in there, you're like, okay, I'll vote yes.
And well, I guess that's a good thing, and really don't. Try to do your homework. I know it's hard. Early voting has started here in Las Cruces, and you can do that. I'm a very traditional person. You voted already, didn't you?
Yeah, I voted day one. Okay. First day early voting.
I like to vote on the day of. That's just me. I think I voted one time early in my whole life because I had to. But the other thing I want to talk about Trump too. These, we're kind of getting caught up. So please forgive us. But we have to mention too the complaint about Trump. And okay, on your computer, not about your laptop, but when I open up my laptop, Zeke, it goes right to an MSN site. And of course, there's always the first article that you see. It's something bad about Trump, something bad about his administration.
Oh, that's great.
And what he's been doing. And, one thing that just came out last week, Trump is in great physical condition. Yeah. And they can't stand that. They go, he's just a doddering old man. They're trying to come up with stuff wrong with him. The dude, for whatever, his genes, whatever, I know he doesn't have the best diet in the world, but I think a lot of it's just about his genes and his maybe attitude and willingness to go. But Trump is in great physical condition. It's amazing.
Yeah, they've learned a lot of stuff about the human brain. As long as you're always learning, the brain never really stops making neurons. The hippocampus will continue to make new brain cells, but you got to use them. It's use it or lose it. So if you keep learning, you keep exploring new areas, you keep reading, you can continue to grow as a human being. And Trump is someone that's always learning. He's very open. He works very hard. He's an obsessive work kind of a guy. So yeah, I think he's fine. I mean, I always talk about it, but Benjamin Franklin was 81 when he drafted the Declaration of Independence, and that was back in 1776.
Wow. And that was rare for people to live that long. But a lot of our founders did live very long. They really did. They didn't die at 50 necessarily.
It's just, good old natural healing. They were living good, healthy lifestyles, farming, ranching. So I have no doubt that President Trump he'd probably get another 10 years out of that guy. I mean, maybe not be president for 10 years, but, I am pro-Trump 2028. I'll say that right now. I am pro-Trump 2028.
You've never made a secret of that, Zeke.
No,
never.
No, I am. I just don't trust anybody. I like J.D. Vance. I like the guy. I just, there's something about President Trump that he was, born into a wealthy family, but his dad worked his way up from it. So his dad wasn't born wealthy. His dad was poor, the poor pauper, and then worked his way up to be a very successful builder. And so Trump grew up in that. He's very wealthy. It's very hard to be successful. I'm in business. I try my ass off to be a millionaire. Okay, it's difficult, and you're not going to get someone like that again. You know, that kind of mentality, that kind of work ethic, that kind of experience of dealing with high volumes of numbers and people. And I just don't think J.D. Vance has anything close to that.
Well, it's the generation 2 plus what Trump's dad did
Right.
is made him do all the small menial jobs because, you need to do that, you need to learn that. And that was brilliant. That was so brilliant to do. Yeah, well, did you hear what happened to J.D. Vance and Stephanopoulos?
No.
So,
But I love J.D. Just to say, I love
no,
J.D.
we do love J.D. So Stephanopoulos was interviewing J.D. Vance, our vice president, and was trying to grill him about that back in 2024, Tom Homan had taken a bribe for like $50,000 or something.
Nice.
So JD came back and he said, you know what, that was looked into, it never came to fruition. And in fact, I'm thinking, well, if that had happened, we would know about it. They would have gone after the dude last year, right? And what happened is Stephanopoulos just cut him off.
Oh.
Just go, okay, no, it's obvious you're not going to answer the question. And JD was answering the question. He was telling him nothing came of that. And it was just, he's very good. He is very good at interviewing and knowing the facts, and his mind is sharp and fast. But he is younger. And so, of course, even though he's extremely smart, he does not have the benefit of an older person like Trump with all of that wisdom. And you're right, the business experience.
Yeah, the entrepreneurisms will get. The founding President George, he was a hardcore entrepreneur, wildly successful entrepreneur, much like Trump. Even more successful than Trump in a lot of ways, because President Washington basically earned his money very young. He started doing some crazy, risky stuff with the shipping and stuff like that, of shipping of precious goods. And he became very wealthy very young. With hemp, he was a farmer as well. So I love, and that's nothing taken away from other politicians that are entrepreneurs, but I think the pinnacle of an American political leader is an entrepreneur and a literary. And President Trump fulfills those demands. He is literary as well.
Very true. Plus, he got shot at, so...
He got shot in the... So did George Washington.
That's right, and they missed him.
They almost killed his ass, too.
Divine intervention, we call it. God has a plan. He always does. Let's switch to New Mexico before we do local. Shall we finish off?
Nuevo Mexico. We've been kind of bouncing back and forth, but let's do New Mexico is always fun. There's plenty of stuff going on here in New Mexico.
Well, there really is, and I want to report to this shirt I told you where it's from. It's from our Southwest Coalition for Life, and just to report the groundbreaking has not happened on the lot, and that's our illustrious Governor MLG, who devoted $10 million of our New Mexico tax dollars for that. I didn't have a say in it. Did you? But nobody's broken ground. And I've got to give giant kudos to Randy McMillan.
Better be careful on YouTube now. Be careful on YouTube.
Okay. So anyway.
Well, just the wording. You know what I mean.
Go on. Okay. I'll just tell you that what happened is there's been bids on this site, okay? So we had a letter writing campaign, and in Las Cruces virtually, the construction guys have said, no, they don't want a part of it. So they bid it out. I guess somebody from El Paso bid it out. Well, Randy McMillan saw who it was. He says, I know this guy. So he called and he gave him all the particulars of what that actual site, what they were going to build and turn into. Because the guy's, he's got other people doing that, I'm sure. He didn't know every particular detail. As soon as he found out, he said, nope, it's not going to happen, and withdrew the bid. That's a huge victory, and I think that's God's hand in there. So now who knows where they'll have to go? They'll have to go out of state. Somebody was mentioning on my Facebook post, they're going to have to go out of state and do this. I said, well, they already are technically, because El Paso is out of state.
Yeah, they're going to have to, but, who's going to want the blood on their hands for that one, I guess? But that whole thing, it's just so brutal. We got to get away from this, guys. We got to get some people in office. We got to start. That's the only way out. It's the only way out. We got to get Republicans elected, conservatives, good, America First people in local city council, state representatives. We got to get a Republican governor, which there's a couple really big-time Republican governors that are going to be announcing in the very near future. I'm not going to say any names, but...
We're going to have a Republican governor race with more than one candidate?
Well, we got Mayor Hull in there now, and he's a great guy. But I think the more, the better the candidates jump in there, I think the better. I really do think that's better. I've kind of seen it now. If there's 3 or 4 awesome candidates that jump in a race, it's a win-win. It's a win-win. And
they got to do it now because this is just a year away. Next year, we'll be voting on the governor, right?
That's another thing I realized, too, in politics. It's like the later you get in, the better. So I think that a lot of people are realizing that strategy, and that's what's going on. A lot of people are jumping in late, and I've just seen success when you jump in late. Like Carrie Lake started her campaign 2 years early. She still got the shaft. And I love Carrie, man. They got her bad. They got her real bad. They really didn't want her in office. They worked really hard to make sure she didn't get in there. And the person that got in there instead of her, who I don't even know her name. What's the governor's name of Arizona's name?
Come on, you know her name?
No, I really don't know her name.
Katie Hobbs, right?
Katie Hoggs?
Katie Hobbs.
Hobbs. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Hobbs.
I didn't even know her name.
Yeah, and then Adrian Fontes is the Secretary of State. So, that was such a red state, especially when I lived there, but little by little, unfortunately,
She's still in elections. She's still in elections. And President Trump is watching right now. I can't wait to see what's going to happen after these local elections and these midterms because they're watching. And we got the new Dominion.
Oh, yeah, that's so cool. That just happened. Huh?
Dominion sold. That's a Republican, I think from Louisiana, one of those southern states. And that's exciting. I can't wait to see what's going to happen here soon.
It is exciting. So things are happening, and we're excited about that. The other thing, you know what? I wanted to talk about. We'll talk about these two real quick stories. I told you before we started recording, there was evidently a school board candidate, a Democrat.
Oh, New Mexico, that's right.
Yeah, and the whole gist of it, we have it posted on our Facebook site. I posted on the Chips and Salsa Show in New Mexico. And she was door knocking, okay? And the person that answered the door evidently asked if she was with Emerge, which Emerge is, how would you explain that organization?
It's a out-of-state, out-of-country lobby group, PAC, that funds candidates, far left progressives nationwide. However, we have the most concentrated amount of Emerge candidates here in New Mexico compared to the whole nation. Yeah, per capita, we have the most Emerge politicians in office right now. And it's just global billionaires, hardcore progressives coming in and funding people to run for these small local races so they can own them. And there's a lot of money in these races. Look at that, $600 million in our Las Cruces school budget alone. So what is a couple $1,000, $10,000, $20,000 for an Emerge candidate? All they got to do is just not say a thing, and just write off all these invoices to these programs that we know don't work. It's what it is. It's what's going on.
And they got the money. So this candidate goes door knocking, and the woman that answers it evidently was in the legislature or had run for the legislature and called her and said, are you with Emerge? And the candidate did admit to doing that. Yeah. And she says, well, I'm voting for the other person. And obviously, as Emerge is a very left organization. So the Emerge person put a few choice words. I'll just say it's a word that starts with an F. It's like a long version and ends with a T, MAGA Republicans. And it's on video if you want to go watch it. But that is just how bold and angry and mean they are. And it's just, she said it with a lot of glee, too.
She's scared. She knows that there's more and more of us than them. And I've never seen the Democrats so shaken before. They have this like hardcore con game, this confidence game that they got. And even still, they seem a little shaken, but in my opinion, they should be way more shaken. I think they're in a lot more trouble than they're acting now. But I do see chink in their armor. It's exciting. I can't stand these people who are in these positions of power that they just continue to make our lives worse, and they get rich off of it. They get rich off of it. It makes me sick.
They do get rich off of it, excuse me. There's so much money that goes through there. It's amazing. Also, our governor, too, and if you keep up with our site, and thank you very much. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. I know you're going to get us up on Rumble again soon.
Yeah, very soon, actually. Yeah.
And our Facebook page, if you follow it, I try to post our stuff there every day. But our governor, MLG, also is trying to get I think she did successfully during the special session get the vaccine mandate passed. So I think kindergartners, and you can opt out of it, I believe that's according to.
Yeah, you can still get a waiver, yeah.
But you got to know to do that too. It's unnecessary. It's too bad.
That's ridiculous.
It's really bad. School board's so important. That's why we have Christina Moore's sign back here. Also Natalie Chadbourne here locally. They're the two best school board candidates. Please vote for them if you can, and support them if you can't. If you can't vote for them too, I want to take this opportunity real quick. If you can't vote for a candidate, maybe you're like, oh, I'm not in that district. Well, you know what? Give them a few bucks, because you get them in there, as I always say, they're still representing you because you live in the community, and maybe your candidate won't win. But if you've helped that other one get there, that you're still kind of helping your agenda. Also, this goes out to people who live in the county, Zeke. A lot of people. So if you live out in the county area and not in proper Las Cruces, you can't vote in the city elections and for city council. But you might have a business in the city and you feel kind of cheated. Maybe a lot of people do. But if you help your candidate, somebody who, if you could vote for them, you would, you help them. You're helping yourself because you're trying to we got to get good leadership in there. This city has so much potential. We got to get good leadership in here. That's the only way we're going to save our city.
And it goes a long way, guys. $20, $50, $100, $300. I've seen it, with these local guys right now. So they get $500 here, $300 there. It adds up and it helps tremendously. And we've gotten a lot more clever about how we're going about running races here locally, and we're seeing it pay off massively. I think that this is, no matter what happens, this election here locally is going to really, it's going to be a paradigm shift in the local elections here in Las Cruces, because we're finally getting a hold of what we need to do to win. The people are finally fed up enough to actually get up and get involved. And I'm very excited for Las Cruces because, there's way more of us than them guys. You go to these, city council meetings and stuff, you can tell these guys seem like they're paid actors. They're just agitators. They're just nasty. But they have the most unpopular opinions in the world. Like, nobody wants this stuff that we're going through right now. These are basic 80-20 issues. We all want safe streets. We all want a better economy. We all want better education for our kids. And everything that they're doing is the opposite of that. We have more crime. We have less business. Our schools are getting worse. The economic opportunities here in Las Cruces have just been stifled. Businesses have been leaving like crazy. It's not a good place to have a business, especially restaurants. New Mexico is not a restaurant-friendly place at all, which sucks because the food's great here.
Yeah, it used to be when I lived here, and even more recently, to visit any Mexican restaurant you go to, it was all good. It was all good. And now it's tougher. It's tougher for them to stay in business. I totally hear you. Just coming in today, so we're actually recording this show Tuesday morning, okay? And I maybe had a 10-minute drive over here, Zeke, and I saw about 6 police officers, and they were headed up towards maybe I'll say the Telshore area, okay? And I don't know what happened today. We'll find out later. It's getting crazy. It really is getting crazy. Somebody I think I was telling you, my neighbor, who moved. They moved from Albuquerque, and she was saying, "I feel like we're kind of turning into an Albuquerque," and that's not good. We can't do that because this is still family centric. It's a great community, and I just don't want to let that happen. I may go, I may not live long enough to see it, but I'm still going to fight it because I got family, friends. I've got a lot of stuff invested here, and I want it to be successful, as I know you do, Zeke. That's why we do the show. Well,
I've noticed a huge influx. Yeah, that is why we do the show. I've noticed a huge influx of homeless, and they're whole new people. These are people I've never seen before. And there's some fresh people that went home. You can tell they're younger. They still got their clothes aren't so tattered. They seem like they're still pretty vibrant. And it's like, where did you guys come from? What are you guys doing here?
I am so glad you mentioned that. We went this weekend. We went and had a meal downtown, and right there where the mall is. And when we got there, it was earlier in the afternoon. When we left a couple of hours later, there's about 6 homeless there, and you're absolutely right the way you're describing them. And I thought, man, they weren't there before.
No,
and it wasn't like raining or something, so they had to be on the veranda part. So what do you think's happening? Is it because the weather, we're a little bit more mild winter?
They're getting shipped in. They're getting shipped in. They're probably coming from California, Oregon, Washington. They've been open about being basically a sanctuary city here, and they just ship them here. And then, so if people are getting deported, they're losing some of their voters right there. So they probably need to ship some people in to try to get some votes as well. I mean,
that's true. Election time. I hadn't even thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how dumb I am.
Election time. And these people are ruthless, man. They'll do anything to stay in power. They'll do anything for the dollar. Meanwhile, most candidates that I know, if not all of them, we don't want to get in an office for power or money. We want the power to save our city so we can have safer streets and better schools and better economy. But we have no interest in selling our soul for money for some short-term gain. That's short-term gain. You do stuff like that, yeah, you might make some money in the short term. You're going to end up burning in hell for the rest of your life. You want that? I don't want that.
And we have 2 very good candidates for city council. Ronnie Cisneros is one, and we did talk to Rick Renault. And I have to mention, so I don't know if we recorded a show after I had gone to the city hall. It was at the city hall, the forum for that. And my counselor, Becky Coran, was there. Ronnie Cisneros, sorry. Brian isn't over here. Ronnie Cisneros couldn't make it. So, but Rick was there. And Rick, oh man, his brain, he knows education locally, and he also knows the city council. So I can't remember the exact issue that they were talking about, but basically it was about devoting money to certain programs. And I believe it was for kids, which I'm cool with. I'd like the streets to be safe, though, so we can actually send them to these programs and they can participate. And Koran was like, absolutely, we got to spend the money, boom, boom, boom. And it's probably kind of a popular opinion in a way. But the great way that Rick answered it, he said, well, we have so many, I'll get the figure wrong if I threw out 67 million or something, but we have this money. It's like we have it already.
Yep.
So in other words, he was calling her on it and saying, done it. Well, what are you waiting for? And what are you waiting for? So anyway, I don't think they recorded that, unfortunately, or otherwise I'd tell you to go back and look at that form.
They usually don't record that stuff. Yeah.
But I tell you what, he gets in there and Rick is so good. He's thinking about the plans. He's like me. He was born and raised here. He stayed here. I took off to Arizona, but he stayed here. And he's had businesses. He was an engineer at White Sands. Just really, we have very good, solid, conservative candidates. And if you have any questions, you can. I try to post stuff every day, or just contact either one of us. And if you can support them another way, like maybe somebody who lives in their district, say, hey, you know what, vote for this guy. He's great. But I'm happy to answer any questions or put you in touch with that campaign.
Yeah, the local elections are huge, guys. And yeah, we got ranked choice voting, but we've seen other candidates that we want in there get in there by a thread, but they got in there. So I still have a lot of hope for these local elections.
And I hate that ranked choice voting. That's what we got to get rid of, big time. And how long have we had that?
Not too long. I think like 10 years, something like that.
Really?
But we haven't had a Republican in city council in over 10 years, so there's maybe a correlation there.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, we haven't had too good a candidate. I've been involved about 10 years now. We've just had horrible candidates for city council over the years. I mean, this year is probably the best year by far. Like we've had good Republicans. I don't want to say hard Republicans. They're moderate in a lot of ways too, but they're good Republicans. These guys they mean well. They want to improve the city, and we need to start getting people in. It's hard nationwide. It is extraordinarily difficult to get a Republican city council. It happens. It happened in Rio Rancho. It's there right now, and look at the benefits that they got from it. Rio Rancho is a great city. So there's a lot of motivation to do it. I mean, I'm just surprised that Austin, Texas wasn't able to get a Republican city council. These hardcore Texas cities, why haven't they been able to do it,
Austin is very left, though. It's very liberal.
Why haven't they been able to do it? I guess they cheat the election. I don't know. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered for me still. But we know that George Soros is funding a lot of these district attorneys, if not all of them, these blue cities, these blue areas. And then as soon as they start not prosecuting crime, they start letting these, and it's the same violent criminals. If you just take out the same violent criminals, there's like 1 or 2 or 3 bad dudes that do the same crimes over and over again, the repeat offenders. If we just focus on the repeat offenders, crime goes down quick. We've learned that too. I just learned that myself. So it's not hard to solve the crime. What's harder is actually making the crime worse. You got to get people in office. You got to free handcuff the police with bad policy. There's a lot of work to be done to make sure that this crime keeps getting worse. And in the face of everybody, we're like, well, we all see these random homeless people coming here. We all see the violent crime going through the roof here. What can we do about it? Well, I'm too busy trying to pay my bills. I'm going to go about doing that.
And I see little things like, remember when Rudy Giuliani took over and he had where, just even the most minor maybe of offenses, but they were on it. When I go downtown Las Cruces and I see graffiti or I see things just not being taken
Vandalism,
care of,
yeah.
Things that could be, okay? There's small things and you think, well, what? That's not a big deal. It is a big deal because it's like when you see a neighborhood that's not taken care of, you get used to that. And all of a sudden, next time you pass it, you're not looking at it anymore. You're not paying attention. But somebody else is. And the people that commit the crime are as well. And it makes it a target area. So I really hope that, that's the focus. And, even little things I know I complain too about not being able to, the lines that are painted on the street too, because, it gets harder to see, especially at night. And okay, I'll give you that. We got a lot of sunshine here. We have weather and those things are not cheap. But it's got to be taken care of because that's primary. The primary function to me of the city is to, you get the trash out and stuff like that. But public safety, and we need to get that taken care of. It's like the number one issue. Speaking of which, if you have something to comment, then I want to talk about this little story here.
Yeah, I mean, look, the crime is so important, guys. I know I say over and over again, but I'm trying to, drill in everybody's head. If we can fix the crime, everything else seems to fall into place. The crime is something that we all absolutely need to focus on because that's actually the last sign of a fallen government. If we can't control the crime, it's a free for all on the city of Las Cruces, on the people of whatever city you're living. Look at El Salvador. I look at El Salvador as a prime example. As soon as the crime started slipping, they lost all their tourism, they lost all their businesses. There's death everywhere, ritualistic deaths at that. But once they fixed the crime, they were able to really start. Now their economy is booming, and they have one of the safest countries in the hemisphere now, in their hemisphere. So we've got to get politicians in there that are going to focus on the crime. They're going to support the police. They're going to let the police do their jobs, and it's just so simple to me. I don't even know why it's even an argument. But these people over here, they want to focus on mental health, all these kind of arbitrary things that really don't have any tangible effect on the things that matter to us most.
Yeah, and even like Rick Renault said in that forum, is that some of these people, some of these homeless people, they need help. They shouldn't be on the streets. They're drug addicts or whatever. Get them their help and get them off the streets where they can do that. At the same time, all these wonderful housing units that we spend a bunch of money on, they have to abide by the rules, because if they don't do that, it just turns things terrible and awful. And we can't have that. We got to get that. I want to give you one more personal example. The other day, I had to give somebody a ride home, and they had forgotten their key. So when they're waiting for their partner to bring their key so they could get in the house, this person who's older than me and is used to, has been in Las Cruces all their lives, said, "Oh, I'll just wait." I said, "No, and it's not a terrible neighborhood where they live. It isn't. No, I'll just wait for you." And it ended up, I was glad I did, because it was like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. So then we decided we were going to go retrieve a key. And as we were exiting that community, this person just came walking in, and I don't know what kind of drugs that person was on, but I thought, I am so glad I waited with you, because, I don't know, maybe that person wasn't dangerous. It happened to be a woman, but still. And you never used to see stuff like that. Never, hardly ever. But anymore, you just got to keep the alert on. You really do. You have to keep the alert. In this little town of Las Cruces, city of Las Cruces, 115,000.
That crime's getting bad. I've been hearing sirens all week. You said you heard some this morning too, so
yeah,
it's getting bad.
I saw them, and the police, they were booking it. And I do want to give kudos also to our Las Cruces Police Department. I think the chief is really doing the best with what he has. But I love when they do those stings at lunchtime. You've seen those? About once a week, they hit the busy intersections, and they get 50 or 60 in an hour. And it seems like a chunk of them are people don't have driver's licenses, they don't have proof of insurance, they are speeders, and it is how many others they're not catching because they just don't happen to be at every single intersection. But those things, it have to be like, I wish we could, sometimes I'm driving along and I'll see somebody and I'll think, I wish that there was just a police officer. Just to have the presence. I think we're getting a little bit more presence of the police, don't you? You see a cop car.
Yeah, I see more police officers everywhere, and I'm always grateful. I thank them when I can. I appreciate the ICE agents for all the hard work that they're doing as well. Right. This would be a completely different state if we had a more pro-law enforcement local government.
So officially, what did they do with the city, that resolution? They're not going to... You have to have a warrant. I think ICE has a warrant. Have to have a warrant to get corporation.
I don't know. I'm not going to speak to it because I don't know. I just know that we've not. This is basically a sanctuary city. The people don't run this city. The people don't run this state. The lobbyists and special interest groups own and run the state of New Mexico, guys. We don't have control of our own state. It's just what it is, and they have control of our elections. We've all seen the horrible way that they handle those. The sheer waste of money towards the education. It's just a wild place to live.
It is the Wild West, huh?
In Santa Fe right now, the mayor's going to pass a resolution to mandate $18 an hour, $17 an hour minimum wage or something like that. And, we've seen this through history. It's just the people are just so ignorant. It's like, look. That's
like California. California's $20, I think.
You artificially inflate the wages. Businesses leave. There's no jobs at all. Okay, so you can say, oh, our minimum wage is $20 an hour. Well, there's no businesses there to pay anything. Then you don't have any businesses that pay $20 an hour. And that's what happens. You artificially increase the wages, businesses leave, you lose more jobs. It's this vicious downward cycle of destroying the economy. I mean, why would we do anything even reminiscent of California right now? We should be doing the exact opposite of whatever California does. But here goes Santa Fe, just it's unbelievable.
Yeah, in the special session, they didn't do anything. We have a medical doctor shortage here, a crisis, and one of the things is to belong to a compact. I think we're one of 2 or 3 states that doesn't belong to the medical compacts. And basically what that is if you're a doctor in Arizona, then you can apply and get a license and also practice here in this state. And that's just one thing. The biggest thing is the medical malpractice. It's so out of reach and crazy for these poor doctors. They can't afford it. And it's the trial lawyers that are behind it. So we have a lot of problems in this land of disenchantment, but we're not giving up. We're not giving up. And your support out there means so much. Call your representative, call your state senator, and let them know how you feel. Because elections are coming up next year. Remember, they're right around the corner. It's true. But this is a story because I don't know if you have any update on this, Zeke, but since you were the one that broke this story, I kind of feel like, it's your little baby.
Yeah, it's funny because I shared the link of him getting.
We're talking about Judge Cano.
Yeah, he got indicted. I'll share the story on Facebook from the Albuquerque Journal, and I ended up getting more traction on that than the Albuquerque freaking Journal.
Did you really?
Yeah, I got more likes and more shares than the Albuquerque.
That's because you broke it? Is that why?
I think because I broke it, but see, I gave Albuquerque Journal kudos because they broke it right after I did. That was the only other news.
That's true.
Remember that? They were the only other ones besides me that put it out there, and they got a lot of credit for that too. But so hey, look, supporting each other, supporting us. Share this podcast, like this podcast, follow Alice on Facebook too. Me, it helps a lot. It helps tremendously. It gives us a lot of power in terms of just bringing the truth out. So he's indicted, and the interesting thing about these indictments, the same thing with Letitia James. So this is just the beginning. Once you get them, just because they're indicted, I think they're only getting him right now on obstruction of justice because he deleted a cell phone. And on one of and I think on one of the other cell phones, if it was not one of the Trinidad guys, they found guys with their hands cut off, body mutilation stuff. So who knows what was on the phone that they
You're right.
deleted.
It has right here that he and his wife Nancy were indicted on charges related to tampering with evidence.
Yeah, they destroyed a phone with stuff on it apparently. So just because he's getting indicted for the obstruction, it doesn't mean that's it. You could start opening the door for a bunch of other indictments behind that. And so the same thing with Letitia James. She's getting on this mortgage stuff. Well, once they get you on that, they can go and indict you on other stuff too. So, and apparently there's going to be a lot more indictments with a lot more Democrat leadership coming up very soon in the very near future. So I'm excited about that. We still have a lot of big problems with the Department of Justice. They just denied, the Supreme Court just denied to hear Alex Jones's case. And that's a big problem.
I saw that.
That's a big problem.
And that's a lot of money they're going after him for.
$1 billion. He doesn't even have it, but
$1 billion?
But they just want him off air. But yeah, so there's still Trump doesn't have full control of the Department of Justice yet. You got to figure, guys. It's been Bill Clinton, George Bush, Obama, Biden, all those years. I mean, really, the Department of Justice has been infiltrated since the assassination of JFK. So Trump is fighting decades of swamp. We've got to hang in there with them. I hate to see the Department of Justice have this much power over us and destroy our free speech here locally. The courts here are a freaking mess. I mean, some of the most popular posts that I put out there is about the local court corruption and the medical corruption too. That's a big one too. We're losing doctors like crazy. There's a lot to discuss, and people are fed up. They love when we talk about the corruption in New Mexico because no one else is willing to do it. That's why I have respect for you, Alice, for being unafraid, for being unafraid. So thank you guys. That's what's going on. He's indicted. There's supposed to be more. They're going to be indicting him on more stuff apparently. This is not the end of it. And then also the other guy pleaded guilty.
What can you tell us?
Well, I think this is when when they start squealing. That's about time to get squealing, getting under protection agencies and stuff. And then the kid he pleaded guilty to having a weapon as an illegal immigrant too.
Illegally possessing firearms and conspiring to destroy evidence as well. Yeah, and it tells the whole little story. It says it was in El Paso where Ortega Lopez met Nancy Cano, the wife of Judge. And so the Canos admitted they hired him, Ortega Lopez, to install a glass door for them, which is illegal since the Venezuelan was not authorized to work. So Ortega Lopez faces up to 20 years in prison. He's set to be sentenced on January 8th. And my whole thing when all this stuff started, it's like, dude, you're a judge. You have to be careful who you're associating with. And remember when we first broke it, and there's still a lot of people. I was watching, maybe it was on the Albuquerque Journal Facebook site or something. There's still a lot of people, and they think the world of him. And maybe he was. Maybe that's what they saw. And he might be, innocent till proven guilty. It's true.
He's guilty as hell.
But this doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. And then this is, one judge we know about. It's always, we talk about, what are the stories we don't know about?
Yeah, and it's just, these guys are so normalized in their worldview and the things that they do behind the scenes that he didn't even think that there was an issue with it. I mean, that was their attitude the whole time, that they were kind of like saviors, for what they were doing. It's like, bro, I can only imagine what his colleagues are doing behind the scenes. I mean, these guys, I just learned about some really shady stuff that was going on with CPS back in 2009 out of Texas. And it's gotten worse over the years. And then there was a lot of judges, chiefs of police, sheriffs, school teachers involved with, really shady stuff going on with CPS. I'm not going to get too into it because it would shock you guys. And so there's just a whole bunch of people that, walk around us, that live amongst us, that are into some really dark stuff, guys. And there's a lot of them. So we got to just, keep pushing forward, the power of the Lord on our side, the armor of God, and stick together. There's a lot of them, but there's way more of us than they are. But just don't forget about the fact that there's a lot of these people out there. They're not good people.
And that's the thing. And it's like when we're doing our prayer warrior for the Southwest Coalition at the Pink House, and we get a lot of support. I bet about 95% of the cars that pass by there are people that see us. They're giving us a thumbs up. Some even come up and thank us for what we're doing and want to be a part of the whole thing. The ones that have a thumbs down or this, which digit I'm talking about, assigned to us, they look so angry and unhappy. And I really do. I pray for them once they leave because they can't be a happy person. They really can't.
You can see cortisol in someone's face. If someone's got a lot of cortisol, they have that facial structure to it. It's very sad.
Sometimes their eyes are looking at you like I thought, and we're very cognizant of them because it's dangerous out there, so we got to be careful.
Yeah, please be careful.
Everybody needs to be. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in a car, especially if you're a woman alone, we're just more vulnerable. That's just how it is. Sorry if you don't like that, but that's just how it is. It doesn't matter. And so I implore you, don't take that for granted. This is still a very nice town. I'm not trying to say there's a thug on every corner every time, but you just don't know. You just hear too many stories about that, and we just can't take any chances.
No, you don't know. Yeah.
We want you alive, guys.
Alive and well. We need everybody here in the fight, even if it's just a vote. Even if you're registered independent, go out and vote Republican. Hook us up here. You don't want far left progressive policies. We see what that happens. We see what that does. Look at LA. Look at San Francisco. Look at Las Cruces, man. This place is so much potential. It's unreal. And we can still fix it. There's still a lot of opportunity out there for us to do so. And people are coming together more now than ever. On social media, the conservative movement here in New Mexico is going through the roof right now. I mean, people are just fed up and they're excited to come together. And Trump's really done a good job motivating his base. There's a lot of people that are active now that were not active before. Same thing, Charlie Kirk, what happened with him. A lot of good stuff going on for us, guys. Let's keep it up.
And I just want to ask you, because I know you're out there in political land a lot, more than I am, just because you're able to. But it appears to me, as I talk to more people, you do get that vibe. They are becoming not woke, but awake, and are figuring out things that are happening here within our city and the confines of New Mexico.
It's a great awakening, and everybody's starting to realize it's a spiritual battle. It's just it's a really crazy time to be alive. And then they got the new asteroid that's going to be coming here, apparently. I don't know if you saw about that.
No, tell me about that.
I forgot what it was called. It was asteroid 13 or 18. I forget, but they've tracked what they thought was a comet or an asteroid coming from the sun, from behind the sun, that's on track to collide with Earth in 2027. But they don't think it's an asteroid or a comet because it doesn't have any ice behind it like a comet. It doesn't have the same qualifications as an asteroid, the way it's moving. And so, yeah, people are starting to talk about it all over the place now.
Well, and this is a good place. I mean, we've got, a lot of facilities out here, and we've got a clear sky. And I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's going to be a pretty big deal. There's ancient Sumerian texts that talk about, the return of a outer Earth or a different planet that's going to return. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now, guys. And then supposedly you're supposed to be getting aliens coming in, invading us here in about a month too, right? In November. Did you hear about that? Remember that?
I did see a headline about that. Are they going to come here to New Mexico or to your house?
They've already come to Roswell
Did you
plenty.
invite them? They might still be there. Yeah, it's true. But I had not heard that. And, you know, the thing is, you and I'm a political junkie. I know you are too, and you're a political junkie.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff to keep up with. That's why, like, we try to condense it down for you and keep the stories. And again, thank you. I know a lot of you send us stuff, and we appreciate it because you just can't cover everything. It's just not possible. We're only human.
Yeah, there's a lot to go over. I've learned a lot over the weekend. You know, so like I said, the asteroid stuff, that's just weird. I don't know if I believe in it, but there's some pretty credible people that are talking about it now, which is kind of alarming. And then, you know, the whole thing with the Department of Justice really kills me. We have so much work to do, and the swamp is so thick that we got to start arresting people. We got to start indicting people, and it's just not happening. Trump hasn't pardoned anybody since like May, I think.
Oh, he hasn't.
The J6ers, there's still a lot of J6ers, I think, that still need to get pardoned, to my understanding.
There's so much work, and you know, bless his heart, they criticize him, and I understand that. But like you say, you put it right. You put it in a good way. Decades of swamp. That's what he's dealing with. Decades of swamp.
Decades. I mean, these people just, you know, they don't want America to thrive. They wanted to overthrow America. It's a communist revolution, and that's what we've been under, guys. The color revolution. That's what we've been dealing with. Cloward and Piven, you know, problem solution type scenarios, where they create the problem and then they provide the solution, and they end up just getting more control and more power. And the only remedy to that is what we saw President Trump do. You gotta take over the Republican Party, because a lot of the Republican parties are just they're not functional.
No, it had to be remade.
It had to be reinvented. And you got to get behind entrepreneurs, get behind real people who want to get, you know, real things done. And you got to just keep pushing. That's the thing about President Trump too. He never quit. That's like his main thing, is never quit. So no matter what, we can't quit. Follow his lead. And I'm still very optimistic about the future. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but I just feel like there's just going to be an amazing future for humanity. I don't know when, but I just feel like we've got so much momentum now. And I see the beauty of human nature. It's coming out.
And do you think so too? Because even with all, you can call it the negative stuff, everything we're going through, everything always has a purpose. Sometimes you got to go through a lot of junk to make your way to all the good stuff. And, you know, just keep your faith in God. Keep praying. As I like to say, don't be a worrier, be a warrior.
That's right.
A political warrior, and keep God. He's number one. That's number one. Families two, and you're number three. And just keep rocking. But we can't say how much we appreciate you, and thank you for your patience when we transitioned. We shouldn't even use trans. I shouldn't use that word.
We're trannies.
We transed into this new studio, yeah.
We're trannies. But yeah, the cool thing about this new studio is that we're going to be able to have more guests on. We're going to be able to have phone call guests on. I mean, I think this next show, we're going to have another guest on.
Yeah, we're hoping Natalie can do it. Natalie Chadburn, who's the other school board candidate.
Yeah, she's great.
Waiting to confirm.
She's great. I really hope she gets in there. It's school boards. But they protect these school board seats so bad. I mean, Martin Heinrich is backing Wolford, the guy that Chadbourne's running against. And it's like, man, that guy Heinrich's, God, I can't stand that guy either. But
well, here's the fact, okay?
I get so frustrated.
She's running against the president. It's Pat Court, I think, C-O-R-T.
Christina's running against Pat Court, yeah.
And then Natalie's running against Wolford. What's his first name? I can't remember.
Robert, I believe.
Could be. Wolford and Court have been in there, okay? They've been in there for the last 4 years.
I think it's gotten worse.
And there's been no improvement. They haven't fixed things. And the agenda that's happened, that's all you need to do. You know, I went to a forum and somebody said, oh, they seem like really nice people. I'm sure they are very nice people. They're professional politicians now after 4 years. They give off a very nice, friendly vibe, okay? But what have they done, or what have they not done to make our schools better? And so many people I know, if they can, they don't have them in the public schools. That's a shame, because we pay money in our taxes for good public schools. The trans issues and things like that, I mean, it's really, we need to get good people in that school board. And our chances with our two gals, with Natalie and Christina. So I really hope, if you can vote, great, please vote for them. Or if you can't and you know somebody who can, please just mention their names, really. Share it on, from Facebook or whatever social media that you use, because social media is so powerful.
Social media is powerful. It's very powerful. Yeah, local elections, go vote, guys. Get out there and vote. It's very important. Rich Raynude for District 6, Ronnie Cisneros for District 5, Chadbourne for School Board District 3, and then Christina Moore for the School Board District 2. that's just what we got right now, guys. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. We're working real hard. We're gonna have a new show here coming on this weekend, and I don't have anything else right now.
I'm thinking, I was trying to go through my list, see if there's anything that we forgot about. If you need to vote early, you can do that. So please, just make sure you do it. And here's the other thing about these elections, and you had a pretty good post about this as well. They typically, because it's not a presidential year or anything like that, but they have low turnout. I mean, under 20% of the votership shows up.
Yeah, it's real low.
Let's change that. We just need people, just a few more people to show up, and we can do this. We can get these gals in.
Well, I did the numbers real quick. We'll end all this. I did the numbers real quick, and for city council at least, on average, 3,000 people per district came out and voted for President Trump, Republicans. On average, okay?
And you're talking about Doña Ana County.
Las Cruces.
Las Cruces.
Las Cruces. So these city council races come down to 1,500 votes. And you get the win, 1,500, 1,600 tops. So if half of the people who came out and voted for President Trump voted for these city councils, we would win handily. So you got to just start voting local, guys. It's so important. And they can only cheat so much. It's 10% baked in. Then they can maybe get another 5, 6% on, some dead people and some other random things and some mail-ins. But there's only so much that they can do. And now that Dominion is owned by an American Republican now, they're going to have a really hard time cheating, guys. Really hard time cheating. So just please, for the love of Christ, get out there and vote and bring your mom, bring your sister, everyone legally. I'm not telling you to vote often like the Democrats do. No. Vote early, don't vote often. Just vote once.
And then don't we have same-day registration here?
Yeah, there's all kinds of cockamamie. And then they put Spanish, and every ballot is Spanish. There shouldn't be Spanish. English is the official language of this country. Is it not? I don't think, maybe it's not officially yet, is it?
Well, and the thing is, I thought when you were going to become a citizen, which you have to be a citizen to vote, you are supposed to know the language.
Is that, yeah, okay, so there you go, yeah.
You're supposed to know the English, but I think you're right, they do. They have them in
because I learned that a lot of the reason why California was infiltrated was because they had the ballots with like all kinds of different Mandarin and
mega languages, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a big factor. If we get rid of Spanish on the ballots, I think that would help a lot. Nothing against Spanish. I like Mexicans, but you can't be voting here in America.
We are Mexicans.
We are Mexicans for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a very good Mexican, which is good. I'm not trying to be a good Mexican. I'm trying to be a good American.
We're American first.
I don't even know Spanish, so I couldn't read it in Spanish if I wanted to.
He's not lying. He really doesn't know Spanish.
I know enough.
Spanish. Just the bad words. You probably because you always know the bad words.
I can order tacos and stuff.
You can pronounce enchilada.
I can eat Mexican food. I can eat some menudo. But yeah, that's the stuff that pisses me off. You get stuff in the mail, it's all in Spanish and stuff. It's like, bro, this is America, But I'm just trying to teach you guys the little things that they do to, get votes here and there, get votes here and there. It all starts to add up after a while. Even with all those ways that they can cheat, all we got to do is show up. We can still win. We can override it. We can make it too big to rig. Let's do it this year. Thank you, Alice, for everything that you did there and everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
It's good to be back.
Yes.
Let us know, guys, what you guys want to talk about. If you guys want some guests on, if you want to be a guest on, let us know. We're happy to oblige. I'll be getting on Rumble this week. Make it a point. We'll be back on Rumble this week.
Please tell your friends to subscribe to our channels, okay? YouTube channel. And it's doing pretty good, but once you get that Rumble back up, they can just go to Chips and Salsa Show New Mexico, right?
They're all doing good right now. Is the thing is Rumble, X, and YouTube. They're all doing very good. People are just very engaged with conservative politics right now. Very engaged with conservative talk radio.
Well, and they're getting it's because that's where you can go to find real information and genuine, true facts. Genuine. Some of the like I told you when I open up my laptop and it goes to MSN, they're just all stories. And I always kind of go through them because I think, well, that's interesting. But 90% of the time, what is it? It's just trying to obliterate the right and criticize the right. It's like a little kid. When you're a little kid, there's always some little brat that went, yeah. That's what I feel like they're doing. Yeah. They've got to make a big fuss about something that really isn't. Just give me the facts. You're supposed to be the news. Give me the facts and show me what was really happening. But thank you. It's great to be back. I'm so excited. Our new studios. And thank you, Chipsters. Muchas gracias.
It is good to be back. Thank you guys so much. You guys have yourself a merry October, and we'll see you guys soon.
Do you want to do a prayer real quick?
Yes, prayer. Lord, thank you for bringing us back together to share truth with the community of Las Cruces and the community of New Mexico and all the other listeners outside of New Mexico, most likely from Arizona. We're very grateful for this opportunity, and we're very grateful for all the amazing candidates that we have running this year for Las Cruces, Lord. And I just pray that you continue to guide us and protect us in sharing your word, Lord, and that we all come together to bring Las Cruces and New Mexico and this country back to a place that is for you, God. This is your country. We wouldn't be here without you, Lord, and I just want to get our people back to following your word, Lord. And thank you for this opportunity. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Big one. Thank you
Okay,
so
guys.
much. Hasta luego. See you next time.
Laters, guys.